A crack formed across the fabric of reality, silent, impossible, and glowing with power no world was prepared to understand. It began in two universes simultaneously. In the DC universe, Earth trembled beneath the weight of Darkseid's final invasion. Apocalyptic warships blotted out the sun over Metropolis. Parademons swarmed through streets like locusts of steel and flesh. The Justice League stood at the heart of the devastation, bloodied but unbroken. Superman hovered above the ruins of downtown, heat vision carving through enemy ranks. Wonder Woman's lasso blazed golden as she pulled a mothership from the sky. Batman coordinated evacuation routes while dodging Omega beams. Flash vibrated through falling debris, pulling civilians to safety at impossible speeds. Aquaman commanded a tidal wave to sweep parademons into the harbor. Green Lantern's constructs held back 3 warships simultaneously. They were winning, barely. Darkseid himself descended from the largest ship, eyes glowing with Omega energy. "This world ends tonight," he declared, voice like grinding continents. In the Marvel Universe, a different apocalypse unfolded. Galactus, devourer of worlds, materialized above New York City. His herald, the Silver Surfer, had already marked the planet. The sky burned purple and orange as cosmic energy drained from Earth's core. The Avengers assembled in Central Park, staring up at the godlike entity that dwarfed skyscrapers. Thor summoned lightning that crackled harmlessly against Galactus's armor. Iron Man's repulsors barely scratched the surface. Captain America rallied ground forces, knowing conventional tactics meant nothing here. Hulk roared and leaped, fists raised, only to be swatted aside like an insect. Spider-Man swung between falling aircraft, webs catching debris. Doctor Strange wove defensive barriers around the city, mystical energy flickering. Black Panther coordinated Wakandan forces, vibranium weapons gleaming. They were losing, quickly. Galactus raised one massive hand. This world's time has come. Then, time stopped. In both universes, every hero froze mid-action. Superman hung motionless in the air. Thor's lightning crystallized mid-bolt. Batman's batarang suspended inches from its target. Iron Man's HUD flickered and died. The screaming crowds fell silent. Falling buildings halted their descent. Even Darkseid and Galactus became statues. A voice echoed across both realities, neither male nor female, human nor alien, benevolent nor malicious. It simply was, reverberating through the frozen moments like a laugh carved into the universe itself. Stagnation, it whispered. Predictable patterns. Heroes who always win, villains who always fail. Universes locked in narrative loops, spinning the same stories across infinite iterations. The voice grew louder, amused. Let's see how well you survive in each other's cages. Reality bent. Space folded in on itself like paper crumpling. The dimensional membrane between universes, that invisible wall separating DC from Marvel, one set of physical laws from another, shattered. Fragments of existence tumbled through the void. Colors that shouldn't exist bled across the sky. Mathematics broke down, gravity inverted. Time became a suggestion. Then everything snapped back together. Wrong. Superman hit the ground hard, cratering asphalt. His vision swam. The air tasted different, thinner, drier, wrong. He pushed himself up, muscles protesting, and froze. This wasn't Metropolis. The city around him was New York, but not his New York. The architecture felt familiar, yet alien. Stark Tower dominated the skyline where the Daily Planet should be. Advertisements for Oscorp and Roxxon covered buildings. The people fleeing in terror wore different clothes, carried different technology. And overhead, Galactus still loomed, hand descending toward Earth. What? Superman's super hearing exploded with information. Millions of heartbeats in patterns he didn't recognize. Radio frequencies on wrong wavelengths. Aircraft engines using unknown fuel signatures. Beneath his feet, the planet's electromagnetic field pulsed with an unfamiliar rhythm. "Incoming!" someone shouted. Superman spun. A man in red and gold armor rocketed toward him, repulsors charging. "I don't know what kind of alien you are," Iron Man's voice crackled through external speakers. "But you're not taking Earth without a fight." The repulsor blast hit Superman square in the chest. It barely staggered him, but the wrongness of it made his skin crawl. This wasn't Kryptonian technology or apocalyptian science. This was something else entirely. "Wait!" Superman raised his hands. "I'm not your enemy." "That's what they all say." A hammer spun through the air, lightning trailing behind it. Thor caught Mjolnir mid-flight and landed beside Iron Man, eyes crackling with electricity. "Surrender, stranger, or face Asgardian justice." Batman materialized from smoke and confusion in Washington, D.C. Except this wasn't his Washington. The Triskelion loomed where familiar government buildings should stand. Helicarriers hovered in formation. Agents in black tactical gear swarmed the streets, weapons trained on the sky where something massive and purple consumed the horizon. "This is SHIELD, a voice boomed through megaphones. "Unidentified individual in tactical armor. Stand down immediately." Batman's cowl systems struggled to interface with local networks. Everything was encrypted differently, satellite constellations in wrong orbits, military frequencies he'd never encountered. His grappling hook fired at a building that shouldn't exist, pulling him into shadows that felt darker, heavier, more real than the shadows he knew. Something was very, very wrong. Thor crashed through the ruins of the Hall of Justice. Except it wasn't the Hall of Justice. The architecture was similar, but fundamentally different. Statues of heroes he didn't recognize. Technology that hummed with energies that made his godly senses recoil. And everywhere, the stench of Omega energy. By Odin's beard, Thor staggered upright, Mjolnir heavy in his grip. What sorcery is this? A golden lasso wrapped around his torso before he could react, yanking him off balance. Wonder Woman landed hard, boots cracking marble, eyes fierce with confusion and suspicion. "Who are you?" she demanded. "What are you doing in our headquarters?" "I am Thor Odinson." He struggled against the lasso, feeling its magic compel truth. "Son of Asgard, avenger of..." He stopped. The words felt hollow here, meaningless. "Where am I?" "You're in the Justice League watchtower," Wonder Woman said slowly, studying him. "But you're not from our world, are you?" Before Thor could answer, an explosion rocked the structure. Through the massive windows, Darkseid's armada filled the sky like a swarm of mechanical locusts. Iron Man's systems screamed warnings as he faced the strange caped man who'd just tanked a repulsor blast. Captain America sprinted toward the confrontation, shield raised. Spider-Man swung overhead, web shooters tracking multiple targets. Doctor Strange materialized in a burst of amber light, hands already weaving defensive spells. "Stand down," Captain America commanded. "We don't want to fight you." "Then don't," Superman said, desperation creeping into his voice. He looked up at Galactus, then at the heroes surrounding him. "But right now, your world is about to end. And I think mine is too." Flash vibrated through the streets of Manhattan. Except Manhattan felt wrong. The Speed Force responded sluggishly, like running through honey. Timelines fractured differently here. Reality's underlying code was written in a language he barely recognized. He skidded to a stop beside Aquaman, who'd emerged from the East River looking equally disoriented. "Barry," Aquaman said quietly, "I can't hear the ocean. The marine life, they're not responding. It's like they don't know me." "I know," Flash replied. "This isn't home." Green Lantern descended from orbit, ring glowing but faltering. "I tried to contact Oa. Nothing. No response. No core. It's like the Guardians don't exist here." Behind them, the swapped heroes of both universes stood frozen in confusion and mounting horror, while above, two apocalypses continued their inexorable march. And somewhere beyond reality, in the spaces between universes, the Chaos Architect smiled. If you want to see more universe crossovers, hit subscribe and comment which character or world you want to see collide next. The voice that had shattered their worlds whispered one final promise into the frozen moment. Now, let's see what stories you create when everything you know becomes meaningless. Superman raised his hands higher, cape billowing in the smoke-filled air. Please, listen to me. I'm not here to fight. Something's happened. Something cosmic. Iron Man's HUD ran threat assessments, each one coming back inconclusive. The stranger's energy signature didn't match any database. Kree, Skrull, Shi'ar, nothing. His thermal output alone suggested a walking fusion reactor. Jarvis, analysis? Sir, the individual appears to be biological, yet his cellular structure is generating power equivalent to a small star. That's impossible, Tony muttered. Many things are impossible until they happen, Dr. Strange interjected, floating forward. His astral perception examined Superman with growing concern. He's telling the truth. I sense no deception. But more troubling, I sense displacement. He doesn't belong to this dimensional frequency. Thor studied Superman with the eyes of a god who'd seen countless realms. You are no mere mortal. What manner of being are you? I'm Kal-El of Krypton, Superman said carefully. On my world, they call me Superman. I was fighting Darkseid in Metropolis, and then... He gestured helplessly at the chaos around them. I was here, facing that. He pointed at Galactus. Spider-Man swung down, landing on a nearby lamppost. Okay, so, let me get this straight. You're saying you're from another dimension? Like, full-on parallel universe stuff? His spider sense wasn't screaming danger anymore, just confusion. I think so. Superman's enhanced hearing picked up similar conversations happening across the city. Familiar voices in unfamiliar places, Batman's tactical commands echoing from Washington, Wonder Woman's battle cry from somewhere over the Atlantic. And I don't think I'm alone. In the DC universe, chaos erupted across multiple fronts. Dr. Strange stood in the ruins of what should have been the Sanctum Sanctorum, but was instead some kind of Gothic tower humming with different magical frequencies. Zatanna appeared in a flash of backward-spoken spells, top hat askew, confusion written across her face. "Who are you?" she demanded, hands glowing with defensive magic. "How did you breach the Tower of Fate's wards?" "I didn't breach anything," Strange replied, already analyzing the mystical energies around him. They were similar to what he knew, but fundamentally different. Where his magic borrowed power from dimensional entities like the Vishanti, this world's magic seemed to draw from gods, emotional constructs. The underlying structure was alien. "I am Stephen Strange, Sorcerer Supreme of..." He paused. "Of somewhere else, apparently." Zatanna's eyes narrowed. She spoke backwards. "Lever et haturt." The spell washed over Strange like cool water. He felt compelled to speak, similar to Wonder Woman's lasso, but more theatrical. "I was fighting Galactus in New York. Then reality fractured. Now I'm here, and I can barely access my usual power sources. The Vishanti don't answer. Agamotto is silent. I'm cut off from everything I know." Before Zatanna could respond, an explosion shook the tower. Through the window, Darkseid's armada continued its assault. Parademons clawed at the mystical barriers, Omega energy scorching the sky. "We'll sort this out later," Zatanna said grimly. "Right now, we have bigger problems." Captain America's shield ricocheted off Thor Odinson's hammer with a sound like a bell tower collapsing. The god of thunder caught Mjolnir effortlessly, electrical discharge crackling across his armor. "Stay your hand, warrior," Thor commanded. "I mean your world no harm." "Then why are you in our headquarters during an invasion?" Cap pressed, shield ready for another throw. Behind him, Cyborg's weapon systems locked onto the intruder, and Martian Manhunter phased through the wall, telepathy probing carefully. "I told you, I don't know!" Thor's frustration mounted. Everything here felt wrong. The air tasted of different magic. The stars visible through the shattered windows were arranged in constellations he'd never seen in millennia of life. Even gravity felt marginally different. One moment I fought Galactus alongside my fellow Avengers. The next I stand here, accused by strangers wearing the colors of heroes. Wonder Woman's lasso still bound him, and through it she felt only truth and profound confusion. "He's not lying, Steve. Something's happened. Something beyond normal dimensional rifts." Martian Manhunter's telepathic voice echoed in their minds. "I cannot read him clearly, but I sense echoes of another Earth. Similar yet different, as if reality has been swapped." Batman's voice crackled over comms. He'd infiltrated SHIELD's frequencies through sheer technical brilliance, currently perched atop the Triskelion analyzing this world's architecture. "I've encountered Iron Man, Tony Stark, genius billionaire inventor. Same basic profile as me, different methods. He's mentioned Avengers. Corporate databases reference a completely different superhero infrastructure. No Justice League, no Watchtower, no Kryptonian refugees." Green Lantern's voice joined the channel. "Hal Jordan here. I'm in space, and guys, the stars are wrong. Constellations don't match. And something else. I found another Green Lantern. Human. John Stewart. But his ring operates on slightly different frequencies, and he has no idea who I am. Says his core doesn't have a Hal Jordan." Flash phased through SHIELD security into the command center, vibrating too fast for cameras to track. Barry Allen confirming. Analyzed atmospheric composition, electromagnetic spectrum, even quantum constants. Same Earth, different universe. We've been displaced. In Marvel's New York, Superman hovered above the Avengers, hands still raised peacefully. "Your world is about to be consumed. I've seen Galactus in my universe's records, studied cosmic threats. If he's anything like the version I know, you have minutes at most." Tony's sensors tracked Galactus's energy buildup. Superman was right. The Devourer was preparing to feed. "So, what do you suggest, Boy Scout?" "Let me help." Superman's eyes blazed with determination. "I don't understand why I'm here or how to get home, but right now, innocent people are dying. That's all I need to know." Thor lowered Mjolnir slightly. "You speak with a warrior's honor, and your power." His godly senses assessed Superman properly for the first time. "Is considerable, perhaps even sufficient." "We don't have time for full interrogation," Captain America decided, shield lowering fractionally. "If you want to help, prove it. Galactus is the priority." Doctor Strange's hands moved through complex gestures. "I'll maintain defensive barriers, but understand, if you betray us, you'll face more than physical force. This world has magic that can unmake gods." Superman nodded. "I understand, but I give you my word. I'm here to save lives, not take them." Spider-Man shot a web line. "Anyone else feel like we're in a really weird crossover episode?" "Focus, Spider-Man," Tony commanded, but there was a hint of agreement in his voice. He opened a comm channel. "All Avengers, we have a complicated situation. Multiple unknown enhanced individuals appearing worldwide, some claiming dimensional displacement. But right now," he looked up at Galactus, whose hand descended like the end of all things. "We fight." Questions later. Batman's voice echoed across both teams through hijacked frequencies. "Confirmed. We've been swapped. DC heroes in Marvel Universe, Marvel heroes in DC Universe. Unknown entity responsible. Recommend immediate cooperation protocols. Wonder Woman released Thor, lasso coiling at her side. Then we fight together. Darkseid waits for no one. Aquaman emerged from the Potomac, trident gleaming. The oceans here are different, but they'll still answer when Earth needs defending. Green Lantern formed a construct bridge between dimensions heroes. Looks like we're all stuck in each other's nightmares. Might as well make the best of it. And across two universes, swapped heroes prepared to face apocalypses not their own, bound by one universal constant. When innocent lives hang in the balance, heroes fight, no matter what universe they're in. The battle for two Earths began in earnest. Superman rocketed toward Galactus at speeds that shattered sound barriers, leaving sonic booms cascading across Manhattan. The wind from his passage alone knocked over parked cars. Thor flew beside him, Mjolnir spinning, lightning coalescing around his body until he resembled a living thunderstorm. Iron Man's thrusters screamed as he accelerated upward, 50 micro-missiles launching in synchronized sequence. "Target the head," Tony's voice crackled through comms. Jarvis calculated that's where his primary neural centers. Superman's fist connected with Galactus's chin. The impact generated a shockwave that shattered windows for 15 blocks. Galactus's head snapped back, barely an inch. The Devourer's eyes, burning with cosmic purple fire, focused on Superman with the mild interest of a human noticing a mosquito. Insignificant. Galactus's voice rumbled like continental plates grinding. One massive hand swatted Superman aside. The Kryptonian crashed through 3 skyscrapers before Thor caught him mid-flight. "He's stronger than he should be," Superman gasped, ribs already healing from fractures that would have killed ordinary beings. "In my universe's records, Galactus was powerful, but this—" "Welcome to our nightmare," Thor replied grimly. He hurled Mjolnir with all his godly might. The hammer struck Galactus's chest, wreathed in lightning, intense enough to power a city. The Devourer didn't even flinch. Below, Captain America coordinated ground forces with the precision of a master tactician. "Evacuate Sector 7. SHIELD. I need helicarriers repositioning to create a defensive perimeter. Spider-Man, secure civilians trapped in the subway systems." "On it, Cap!" Peter Parker swung through collapsing infrastructure, webs catching falling civilians, pulling them to safety with impossible acrobatic grace. His spider sense screamed constantly, tracking 1,000 dangers simultaneously. A woman and child trapped under rubble. Web line, pull, swing to safety. A bus dangling from a broken bridge. Web a safety net, lower it gently. 3 people about to be crushed by falling debris. Wonder Woman appeared in a blur of motion, bracelets deflecting a massive steel beam. "Go, I'll handle the structural collapses." Spider-Man blinked behind his mask. Thanks. Also, you're Wonder Woman, right? Big fan. Love the tiara. Is this a team-up? Are we team-upping?" "Focus!" Wonder Woman commanded, but there was the ghost of a smile. She leaped 50 feet straight up, catching a falling water tower and hurling it aside. The Amazon princess moved with divine grace, but even she could feel the wrongness of this universe. The air didn't taste of Themyscira's blessed winds. The gods she prayed to, Zeus, Athena, Ares, their voices were silent whispers instead of booming declarations. This world had different gods, or perhaps none at all. In the DC universe, Darkseid's Omega beams carved apocalypse across the skyline. Iron Man's armor sparked and sputtered as red and black energy lanced past him. Jarvis, analysis on those I-beams? "Unknown energy signature, sir. They appear to violate several laws of physics. I'd recommend not being hit by them." "Thanks for the tactical genius," Tony muttered, repulsors firing in controlled bursts. He'd fought cosmic threats before, Thanos, Ultron, alien armadas, but Darkseid radiated a different kind of menace. Where Thanos was a mad philosopher, Darkseid was tyranny incarnate. The very air around him felt like oppression given physical form. Captain America's shield deflected a parademon's claws, the vibranium ringing like a bell. Except this wasn't vibranium. This universe had different metals, different physics. His shield felt heavier, more reluctant, as if even Wakandan science didn't translate perfectly across dimensional barriers. "These creatures are relentless," Steve shouted, driving the shield's edge through a parademon's torso. Acid blood sprayed, sizzling against his uniform. "They don't retreat, don't show fear." "They're not creatures," Cyborg interrupted, his mechanical components interfacing with the battlefield's electronic warfare systems. "They're people. Converted, mind-wiped. Darkseid takes entire populations and turns them into his army." The Hulk's roar echoed across Washington, D.C. as he grabbed two parademons mid-flight and smashed them together with bone-crushing force. Hulk smash ugly bugs. But even Banner's alter ego seemed unsettled. This world's gamma radiation felt different, sharper, more volatile. His transformations were more painful here, as if reality itself resisted his existence. Black Panther moved through the chaos with lethal precision, vibranium claws slicing through enemy ranks. But his connection to Bast, the Panther god, was severed. The ancestral plane was silent. His powers worked through muscle memory and technology alone. The spiritual component nothing but an aching absence. "T'Challa," Shuri's voice crackled through his calm. "The Wakandan satellites can't get a clear reading on this world's infrastructure. It's like the entire planet operates on different technological principles. Even vibranium is resonating at wrong frequencies." "Adapt," T'Challa commanded, decapitating a parademon with brutal efficiency. "We always do." Dr. Strange hovered beside Zatanna above the battlefield, hands weaving spells that clashed and merged with her backwards incantations. Mystical energy formed a shimmering dome over civilian population centers, deflecting omega beams and parademon swarms. "Your magic is fascinating," Zatanna said, sweat beading on her forehead. "But it's like you're speaking a different language, same grammar, completely different vocabulary." "Because I am," Strange replied through gritted teeth. The strain of accessing this universe's magical frequencies was immense. Without the Vishanti or Agamotto, he was improvising, drawing on raw, ambient, mystical energy and hoping it didn't consume him. "In my world, magic is borrowed power. Here it seems to be inherent, connected to divine pantheons and universal concepts I barely understand." "Welcome to DC Magic," Zatanna muttered. "Hope you're a fast learner." An omega beam pierced their shield. Strange barely deflected it, the effort sending feedback through his nervous system like lightning. "We can't maintain this indefinitely." Superman caught his breath in the millisecond between impacts, hovering beside Flash, who vibrated in place at super speed. "This universe's physics are different," Barry Allen said, words compressed into fractions of a second. "I can feel it. The speed force exists here, but it's diluted, like a copy of a copy. Every step takes more effort." "Same with solar energy," Superman admitted, eyes tracking Galactus's movements. The yellow sun overhead should have empowered him fully, but this sun's radiation spectrum was fractionally different. He was strong, but not at peak capacity. "I'm at maybe 85%. "Then we'd better make that 85% count," Dr. Strange said, appearing in a burst of mystical energy. "I've analyzed Galactus's energy signature. He's preparing to feed. We have perhaps 10 minutes before he drains Earth's core completely." Iron Man descended beside them, armor scorched and dented. I've coordinated with SHIELD. Director Fury is deploying every asset we have, orbital satellites, helicarriers, even called in the X-Men from Westchester. But unless we can hurt that thing, we're just buying time for evacuation. Aquaman surfaced from the harbor, riding a massive wave. The ocean life here doesn't know me, but water is still water. I can feel this planet dying. The seas are warming, marine life fleeing. If Galactus feeds, this world becomes a dead husk. Green Lantern's constructs formed a massive cage around Galactus's leg, pure will made manifest. The construct held for 3 seconds before shattering. He's beyond anything I've faced, stronger than Parallax, more relentless than the Manhunters. And I can't even call for core backup. Batman's voice cut through the chaos with tactical precision. Then we need a different approach. Brute force isn't working. We need to think. Think fast, Spider-Man called out, web swinging frantically, because Big, Purple, and Hungry is raising his other hand. Galactus's palm opened, cosmic energy gathering in a sphere of purple-white annihilation. The air itself began to scream. "He's going to level the entire city," Thor breathed, horror in his voice. Superman's jaw clenched. No, he's not. Before anyone could stop him, the Man of Steel rocketed upward, directly into the path of cosmic destruction. Superman slammed into Galactus's palm with every ounce of strength his alien physiology could muster. The cosmic energy sphere detonated against his chest. Not an explosion, but an implosion. Reality bent inward. The Kryptonian screamed as power designed to atomize planets tore through his invulnerable cells. For 3 impossible seconds, Superman held the blast. His cape disintegrated, his suit charred. Blood vessels burst in his eyes, turning them crimson. The yellow sun's radiation couldn't heal damage this fast, especially not this universe's wrong spectrum sunlight. But he gritted his teeth and pushed back, muscles straining beyond breaking point. "Move!" Thor roared, Mjolnir spinning faster than sound. He channeled every amp of lightning Asgard had ever blessed him with and hurled the hammer into the cosmic sphere. The impact created a shockwave that shattered the remaining windows in Manhattan. The energy dispersed, barely. Superman tumbled from the sky, unconscious. Wonder Woman caught him before he hit the ground, her divine strength straining under his weight. He's alive, barely. His heartbeat is erratic. She looked up at Galactus with fierce determination. "We need a miracle. Or an angry god," Thor growled, catching Mjolnir as it returned to his hand. Galactus, face the son of Odin. The Devourer's gaze shifted downward, acknowledging Thor for the first time with something approaching recognition. "Asgardian, you do not belong in this reality. Yet you challenge me regardless. Admirable. Futile." Iron Man's HUD flickered with incoming data. "I'm getting energy readings from Washington. Massive Omega-level event. The other crisis is escalating." "We're fighting a 2-front war," Captain America said grimly, shield raised despite knowing its inadequacy against cosmic force. "And we're losing both." Doctor Strange's hands trembled as he maintained shields over evacuation zones. The strain of using unfamiliar magic was taking its toll. There has to be a connection. 2 apocalyptic events in different universes. Heroes swapped at the exact same moment. This isn't coincidence. Nothing is coincidence when gods are involved, Thor said darkly, or beings pretending to be gods. In Washington, D.C., Darkseid's fist crashed through the Captain America Memorial Bridge, sending tons of concrete and steel into the Potomac. The Hulk caught a section mid-fall, muscles bulging with gamma-fueled rage. "Hulk, hate, stone face!" Bruce Banner's alter ego hurled the debris back at Darkseid. The Lord of Apocalypse didn't even dodge. The concrete pulverized against his chest armor, leaving no mark. "Your strength is considerable," Darkseid observed with cold, clinical interest. But strength without purpose is merely chaos, and chaos must bow to order. My order. His Omega beams lanced out. Hulk tried to dodge. Too slow. The energy struck his chest, and he felt something he rarely experienced. Pain. Real, burning, agonizing pain. The beams didn't just damage his body, they damaged existence itself, unmaking the very concept of the Hulk's invulnerability. Black Panther tackled Hulk aside, vibranium suit absorbing the residual energy. "Stay mobile. Those beams track their targets." "Hulk knows!" the green giant roared, but T'Challa could see it. The Hulk was afraid, not of Darkseid, but of the beams, of the oblivion they promised. Iron Man flew in formation with Black Panther's Royal Talon fighter, both crafts unleashing coordinated firepower. Missiles exploded against Darkseid's armor. Repulsors carved scorched lines across his stone-like skin. The tyrant didn't even slow his advance. "His armor is unlike anything I've analyzed," Tony reported through comms. "It's not just tough. It's conceptually resistant, like it exists slightly outside normal physics." "That would explain the Omega beams," Dr. Strange interjected from above, hands glowing with borrowed power. "They don't obey thermodynamics. They hit what Darkseid wants them to hit, regardless of distance, obstacles, or defensive measures." Zatanna appeared beside Strange in a burst of backward-spoken teleportation. "We need to combine our magic. Your dimensional manipulation with my reality alteration. It might be enough to..." An Omega beam speared through the space they'd occupied a heartbeat earlier. Both sorcerers scattered, their unified spell collapsing. "He's toying with us," Zatanna realized with horror. "He could have killed us already." "Of course he is," Captain America said, breathing hard as he coordinated SHIELD forces. His super soldier serum kept him in the fight, but every impact jarred bones in ways they shouldn't. This universe's physics made everything slightly harder, slightly more painful. "Tyrants don't just want victory, they want submission." Darkseid's voice boomed across the battlefield like a funeral dirge. "Perceptive, soldier. Yes, I could end this. But where is the lesson in swift death? You must understand the futility of resistance. Only then will you embrace apocalypse." Spider-Man swung past Darkseid's head, webs splattering across the tyrant's eyes. "Yeah, well, here's a lesson for you." He flipped mid-swing, both feet slamming into Darkseid's temple. "New Yorkers don't submit." Darkseid's hand moved with impossible speed for something so massive. He caught Spider-Man by the throat mid-quip. "Cute," Darkseid said, lifting the young hero until they were eye to eye. "But inadequate." Peter's spider sense exploded into white-hot panic. Darkseid's eyes began to glow red. A golden lasso wrapped around Darkseid's wrist, yanking with divine force. Wonder Woman hauled herself up the lasso, boots slamming into Darkseid's face with enough power to crater buildings. "Release him!" Surprised, actually surprised, Darkseid dropped Spider-Man. The web-slinger fell, gasping, caught by Flash in a red and yellow blur. "Thanks," Peter wheezed. "Thought I was about to get eye-lasered." "Omega beamed," Flash corrected, setting him down. "And yeah, that was close. This Darkseid guy, way worse than any villain I've fought. He's not just evil. He's evil given physical form and a philosophy degree." Wonder Woman faced Darkseid alone, lasso glowing like captured starlight. "I am Diana, Princess of Themyscira, daughter of Hippolyta, and I've fought gods before." "Then you know," Darkseid said, almost gently, "that gods can die." Both battles raged with increasing desperation. In New York, Galactus prepared another devastating attack. In Washington, Darkseid's parademon armies swarmed with renewed fury. Heroes from two universes fought threats they barely understood, using powers that didn't quite work right, in worlds that felt fundamentally wrong. Then everything stopped. Again, not time. Time kept flowing, but every combatant felt it. A presence, massive, overwhelming, watching. The voice that had shattered reality spoke again, reverberating through both universes simultaneously. Such valiant struggling, such determination. But you still don't understand, do you? Superman stirred in Wonder Woman's arms, consciousness returning. Thor's lightning flickered. Darkseid's Omega beams dimmed. Even Galactus paused, cosmic awareness detecting something beyond himself. You fight your swapped apocalypses as if they're the real threat, the voice continued, amused. But they're merely set dressing, obstacles, tests. Batman's detective mind raced through possibilities. Show yourself. Oh, I will. But first, a demonstration of your predicament. Reality rippled. In New York, SHIELD's helicarrier materialized above the battlefield. Except it wasn't SHIELD's helicarrier anymore. It was a Thanagarian warship, bristling with weapons from a third universe entirely. In Washington, the White House transformed mid-battle into Asgard's Bifrost chamber, rainbow energy crackling through architecture that couldn't possibly exist on Earth. Buildings began shifting between universes. Times Square became Gotham's crime alley. The Washington Monument transformed into Stark Tower. Streets overlapped, pedestrians from different realities suddenly occupying the same space, screaming in confusion. You see, the voice purred, I don't just swap heroes. I'm merging your universes, grinding them together like gears until something new emerges from the friction. Iron Man's sensors went haywire. That's impossible. Two universes can't occupy the same space. The dimensional pressure alone would destroy both. Doctor Strange finished, horror dawning. Unless someone was controlling the merge, feeding on the chaos generated. Finally, the voice praised. Someone understands. I am the chaos architect. I exist in the spaces between narratives, between realities, and your universes, so rigid, so predictable, have grown stale. Time for renovation. A figure materialized above both battlefields simultaneously, or perhaps it was the same figure existing in both places at once. Humanoid, but wrong. Its body shifted between forms, male, female, alien, abstract. Eyes that were doorways into infinite other realities. A smile that was simultaneously benevolent and malevolent. Your apocalypses will continue, the Chaos Architect declared. Galactus will feed, Darkseid will conquer, unless it held up one shifting hand. You can stop me first. But to do that, you'll need to work together across dimensional barriers, learn each other's powers, and somehow prevent two universe-ending threats while I actively sabotage your efforts. Thor raised Mjolnir defiantly. We've faced cosmic tyrants before, but never one who controls the very stage you fight on, the architect replied. Let's make this interesting, shall we? It snapped fingers that existed in 5 dimensions simultaneously. And the real nightmare began. The moment the Chaos Architect snapped its fingers, reality convulsed. In New York, gravity reversed for 3 city blocks. Cars, debris, and civilians floated upward, screaming. Spider-Man's webs shot frantically, creating nets to catch the helpless people before they drifted into the stratosphere. Not cool, very much not cool. In Washington, the Potomac River began flowing upward in a massive spiral column, water defying physics entirely. Aquaman commanded it with desperate concentration, fighting against whatever cosmic force was hijacking his hydrokinesis. The water, it's alive, conscious, fighting me. Flash tried to run through the chaos and found himself phasing through 5 different timelines simultaneously. He saw himself as a child, as an old man, as a corpse, as something that had never been born. I can't. The Speed Force is fracturing. There are too many temporal anchors. Batman's cowl systems sparked and died. Oracle's voice cut in and out, reading multiple Bruce Waynes in the same location. Quantum entanglement impossibility. Then silence. Every piece of technology he'd relied on was now unreliable, infected with probability errors. "This is beyond physics," Dr. Strange said, hands moving through defensive gestures that half worked and half backfired. "The architect isn't breaking universal laws, it's rewriting them in real time." Iron Man's HUD flickered with cascading error messages. JARVIS is going insane. Every calculation comes back with paradoxical results. I'm getting readings that say I'm in 17 places at once. "You probably are," Zatanna replied, her backwards magic the only thing keeping some semblance of reality stable in their immediate vicinity. "The architect is collapsing quantum possibilities, making every potential outcome happen simultaneously." Wonder Woman's lasso glowed erratically, truth itself becoming unreliable. "If we can't trust reality, how do we fight?" "We adapt," Captain America said with iron determination, though his shield suddenly weighed either 50 pounds or nothing at all, fluctuating randomly. "We've fought reality warpers before. Scarlet Witch, Franklin Richards, Mad Jim Jaspers. Not like this," Dr. Strange interrupted grimly. "Those beings altered reality from within their own universes. The architect exists outside all universes. It's playing with the dimensional membrane itself." Thor spun Mjolnir, using the hammer's enchantments to anchor himself to something resembling stable reality. "Then we must strike at the source. Where is this architect?" The entity's voice echoed from everywhere and nowhere. "I'm in the spaces between your atoms, the gaps in your thoughts, the silence between heartbeats. You can't reach me, but I can certainly reach you." Darkseid, who had been momentarily stalled by the reality distortions, resumed his assault with renewed fury. "Trickster gods," he growled, "always the same. Hiding behind illusions while others fight." His Omega beams carved through the warped reality with disturbing consistency. Apparently his power was fundamental enough to ignore the architect's manipulations. "Wait," Black Panther said, mind racing through tactical possibilities. "Darkseid's attacks aren't being affected. Neither is..." He looked up at Galactus, who continued his slow, inexorable preparation to feed, cosmic energy gathering undisturbed. "Because they're fundamental forces," Dr. Strange realized. "Darkseid embodies tyranny, Galactus embodies consumption. The architect can't warp what they represent because those concepts exist across all realities." "So the apocalypses are still happening," Superman said weakly, having regained some strength from the chaos-twisted sunlight. "While we're being torn apart by dimensional instability." The Chaos Architect laughed. "Now you understand the game. Stop Darkseid and Galactus while I make the battlefield itself your enemy." Or, its tone shifted, mockingly thoughtful, "You could always surrender. Let the universes merge completely. Accept chaos as the new order." "Never," Wonder Woman declared. "We've heard that before," the architect replied. "Let's test your conviction." Green Lantern. Hal Jordan found himself suddenly in orbit, the Earth below him flickering between two versions, one with continents he recognized, one utterly alien. His ring construct of a fighter jet wavered, half DC Universe willpower, half Marvel Universe cosmic energy. "Ring status report. Unable to comply. OA location, undefined. Power battery connection, intermittent. Current charge, fluctuating between 47% and 93%. "That's not helpful." Another Green Lantern appeared beside him. John Stewart, this universe's version, his construct solid and architectural where Hal's were improvisational. They stared at each other through their masks. "You're me," John said slowly. "Or a version of me, from the other universe. I'm Hal Jordan, different sector, apparently different reality. Hal gestured at the fragmenting Earth below. We need to coordinate. 2 Green Lanterns are better than 1, especially when reality's going haywire. Both rings flared simultaneously. Warning! Dimensional breach detected! Incoming! A parademon swarm erupted from a rift in space, thousands strong, shrieking with mechanical rage. Behind them, larger shapes emerged, apocalyptian dreadnoughts phasing between universes. Or we could just fight, Hal said, forming a massive green chain gun construct. Works for me, John replied, creating a geometric fortress bristling with cannons. Below, in the merged chaos of 2 Washingtons and 2 New Yorks overlapping like a glitch in reality, the ground teams struggled to maintain cohesion. Hulk smashed through parademon ranks while dodging falling skyscraper debris that existed in 5 temporal states simultaneously. Hulk tired of weird universe. Join the club, Spider-Man quipped, webbing up civilians who were phasing in and out of existence. His spider sense was screaming constantly now, warning him of dangers from multiple timelines at once. He grabbed a woman about to be hit by debris from 3 different possible futures, yanking her to safety. Ma'am, please remain calm and try not to exist in multiple quantum states. Iron Man coordinated with Batman through rapidly failing communications. If we can isolate the architect's dimensional signature, Static might be able to create a feedback loop. Agreed, Batman's voice crackled back. But we need Strange and Zatanna to interference, magical resonance to... The transmission died completely. Aquaman and Flash worked together, the speedster vibrating water molecules at precise frequencies, while the Atlantean shaped the chaos-twisted Potomac into defensive barriers. "This is insane!" Barry shouted over the roar of impossible physics. "The water is existing as liquid, solid, and gas simultaneously." "Then we use all 3 states," Aquaman commanded, trident glowing. The water became ice spears, steam clouds, and crushing waves all at once, overwhelming parademon squadrons. Captain America rallied SHIELD and local military forces into defensive positions, his tactical genius adapting to reality itself becoming an enemy. "Fall back to stable zones. Anyone with tech that's still working, share it. We need communication networks that can handle dimensional flux." A helicarrier crashed from the sky, or possibly materialized already crashing from an alternate timeline where it had been shot down. Cap's shield deflected falling debris while Cyborg's technopathy tried to hijack the crash trajectory, barely managing to steer it away from civilian centers. "Steve!" Tony's voice burst through static. "I've got something. The architect exists between universes, right? So maybe we can..." Reality rippled again. Suddenly, every hero found themselves fighting alongside their dimensional counterparts. 2 Batmans coordinated with eerie synchronicity. 2 Wonder Women fought back-to-back, lassos intertwining. 2 Flashes vibrated at complementary frequencies, stabilizing local space-time through quantum entanglement. "Is this the architect's doing?" Superman asked his Marvel Universe teammates while punching parademons alongside Captain America. "No," Dr. Strange said, eyes glowing with mystical perception as he and Zatanna chanted in harmonic opposition. "This is us. The universes are trying to stabilize by pairing dimensional echoes. Reality itself is fighting back against the architect." Thor landed beside Iron Man, Mjolnir crackling. "The mortal makes a fair point. We are not the only forces at play. The universes themselves have will, have purpose. They resist corruption." "Then we use that," Batman said, appearing from the shadows with his Marvel counterpart. Both spoke simultaneously. "The architect's weakness is its need for chaos. If we create order, we starve it of power," the other Batman finished. "Coordinate all teams, establish pattern coherence." But Galactus chose that moment to complete his energy gathering. His hand descended, palm opening to release annihilation, and Darkseid's Omega beams converged on the same dimensional coordinates, attacking from a different universe but the same physical location. Two apocalypses, one target, the Earth itself. No! Superman and Thor screamed simultaneously, launching themselves upward with everything they had. The Chaos Architect's laughter echoed across collapsing realities. Now we reach the interesting part. Save your world, or save yourselves. Choose quickly. You have seconds. Superman and Thor became streaks of power, one fueled by alien cells drinking solar radiation, the other by godly heritage and divine lightning. They converged on the dual apocalypse from opposite vectors, their combined momentum generating shockwaves that cracked the already fragmented sky. Superman hit Galactus's descending palm with both fists. The impact cratered his knuckles, bone showing through invulnerable skin. He screamed through gritted teeth and pushed harder. The Devourer's hand slowed, microscopically. Thor intercepted Darkseid's Omega beams with Mjolnir, channeling the energy through Asgardian enchantments and into the storm clouds above. Lightning, the color of dying stars, exploded outward. The Omega energy fought back, red and black corruption spreading across the hammer's surface like a disease. "I cannot hold," Thor gasped, muscles tearing from the strain. "You're not alone!" Wonder Woman rocketed upward, lasso extended. She wrapped it around Mjolnir's handle, adding her divine strength to Thor's. The lasso of truth blazed golden, forcing the Omega beams to acknowledge a fundamental reality. You shall not pass. For 3 heartbeats, they held. Then Galactus applied more pressure. Superman's arms bent backward, shoulders dislocating with wet pops. Blood vessels burst across his face. His vision went red, then black, then white. He was going to die here, in the wrong universe, fighting someone else's apocalypse, never to see Lois again, never to return home. No, that thought burned through the pain. No, I don't accept this. Somewhere deep within his alien biology, something ignited. Not rage like the Hulk, not divine fury like Thor, something uniquely Kryptonian, the refusal to surrender that had let his species survive their planet's destruction, the hope that Jor-El had placed in a rocket ship, the determination that made a farm boy from Kansas believe he could save the world. Superman's cells drank sunlight, wrong spectrum or not, and converted it with desperate efficiency. His wounds closed. His strength doubled, then tripled. He pushed. Galactus's hand actually moved backward, an inch, then 2. The Devourer's eyes widened with something that might have been surprise. On the ground, the rest of the heroes fought to stabilize reality itself. Doctor Strange and Zatanna stood back to back, their magical frequencies finally synchronizing after minutes of brutal trial and error. Strange drew power from this universe's Vishanti equivalent, entities called the Lords of Order. Zatanna channeled backward-spoken reality commands through Strange's dimensional manipulation. "Nidne biyitilayer otliu ruo," Zatanna shouted. Strange's hands glowed with amber energy. "By the Vishanti, the Vishandi, and all beings who maintain cosmic balance, stabilize." A dome of crystallized reality expanded from their position, locking down probability and forcing quantum states to collapse into single, stable outcomes. Within the dome, gravity worked normally. Time flowed linearly. Technology functioned predictably. "It's working," Iron Man reported, his systems finally getting clean readings. "Expanding the stable zone." Batman coordinated from the ground, his tactical mind processing the chaos into actionable strategy. "All enhanced individuals, support the sorcerers, create anchor points. We need to stabilize a perimeter." Black Panther's suit hummed as he activated every piece of Wakandan technology he carried, creating harmonic frequencies that reinforced the stable zone. Shuri, if you can hear this, send all available vibranium resonators to these coordinates. Already done, brother. Her voice crackled through dimensional static. The Royal Talon fighters are inbound with full payload. Captain America's shield rang like a bell as he drove it into the fractured ground. The vibranium, or this universe's equivalent, began resonating at a frequency that spread stability outward in concentric circles. Everyone with enhanced durability. Drive your weapons into the ground. Create resonance points. Wonder Woman's sword, forged in Olympus, plunged into asphalt. Aquaman's trident, blessed by Poseidon, struck bedrock. Green Lantern constructs formed geometric patterns that locked space-time into rigid frameworks. Each action reinforced the others, creating a web of stability across the battlefield. The Chaos Architect's voice sounded less amused now. Clever, creating order from chaos, but you're only delaying the inevitable. My power grows with every— Shut up, Hulk interrupted, smashing a parademon into paste. Hulk hate talking villains. Spider-Man swung between stable zones, webbing up refugees and carrying them to safety. You know, for a cosmic entity that exists outside reality, you sure talk a lot. Ever consider being the strong, silent type? The Architect's manifestation flickered with what might have been irritation. Mortals, always so. Iron Man fired a repulsor blast directly through the entity's semi-corporeal form. Yeah, mortals are amusing insects. We've heard it all before. Tony Stark, billionaire genius, etc. Here's a question. If you exist outside our universes, how are you manifesting inside them? Batman's eyes narrowed behind his cowl. Stark's right. You need anchor points, ways to reach into our realities. Which means you're vulnerable, both Batman said simultaneously. One from each universe now fighting side by side. The Chaos Architect's form solidified slightly. A tell, a weakness exposed. Irrelevant. Even if you could sever my anchors, Galactus and Darkseid remain. Two apocalypses you cannot stop. Watch us, Flash said, vibrating at frequencies that stabilized timelines. We're really good at impossible. Above, Superman and Thor had been joined by others. Captain Marvel, this universe's version, added her cosmic energy to the assault on Galactus. Green Lantern constructs the size of city blocks pressed against the Devourer's palm. Iron Man's unibeam carved lines of superheated plasma across cosmic flesh. Galactus spoke, voice rumbling like the death of stars. You delay the inevitable. This world's energy signature is already marked. I will feed. Not today, Superman gasped, every cell in his body screaming. Not ever! Wonder Woman pulled the Omega beams away from populated areas, her lasso burning with divine truth. Darkseid's attack followed her through the sky, tracking with impossible precision. She wove between buildings, using her Amazon training to stay microseconds ahead of annihilation. Diana! Batman's voice cracked through her earpiece. Lead it to coordinates I'm sending. We have a plan. She didn't question, didn't hesitate. The Omega beams carved destruction in her wake as she flew toward the designated location, a convergence point where Doctor Strange and Zatanna's stable zone intersected with the resonance field created by vibranium and Atlantean magic. Now, Batman commanded. Every hero with ranged capabilities fired simultaneously. Not at Darkseid, not at Galactus, at the space between them. The dimensional membrane where the Chaos Architect was anchored. Repulsors, heat vision, lightning, magical blasts, construct weaponry, and Omega beams all converged on a single point. The concentrated firepower, enhanced by dimensional instability, punched through reality's fabric. The Chaos Architect screamed. Its manifestation fractured, splitting into fragments that existed across multiple dimensions simultaneously. Impossible! You cannot— I am beyond our individual universes. Doctor Strange said, hands glowing with the combined magical might of two realities. But we're not individuals anymore. We're unified. And that's something you never predicted. Zatanna spoke, her backwards magic carrying the weight of absolute command. Evael! The architect's anchors shattered. Its presence began to unravel, form dissolving into probability foam. But as it faded, its voice carried one final warning. You've won nothing. The apocalypses continue, and now I cannot control them. Galactus will feed until your worlds are husks. Darkseid will conquer until nothing free remains. I held them back, limited them, made them part of my game. But now, the entity's laughter echoed as it dissolved completely. Now they're free to be what they truly are. Enjoy your victory, heroes. It will be short-lived. Silence fell across the battlefield. Then Galactus's voice boomed with renewed hunger. The interference is gone. At last I may feed unimpeded. Darkseid's omega beams intensified, no longer toying with his prey. The architect was a fool. Now you face true annihilation. Both entities unleashed their full power simultaneously. The sky split open with apocalyptic light, and every hero realized with dawning horror they just made things exponentially worse. Superman looked at Thor, both warriors exhausted beyond measure. We can't stop them both, not like this. Then we must choose, Thor said grimly. Save one Earth or lose both. Wonder Woman's jaw set with determination. No, there's always another way. Then we'd better find it fast, Iron Man said, his armor's power reserves hitting critical. Because we have maybe 5 minutes before there's nothing left to save. Captain America's voice cut through the despair, steady as bedrock. We don't give up. We don't surrender. We find a way. That's what heroes do. But even as he spoke, Galactus began to drain Earth's core energy, and Darkseid's armada descended like the wrath of dark gods. The real battle, the impossible one, had only just begun. We need to divide our forces, Batman said, his tactical mind already calculating probabilities and survival rates. None of them were good. Half focus on Galactus, half on Darkseid. That's suicide, Iron Man countered, armor systems showing critically low power. We barely held them back when they were restrained. Now they're operating at full capacity. Then we don't fight them, Doctor Strange said, a desperate idea forming. We redirect them. Thor wiped blood from his mouth, Mjolnir hanging heavy in his grip. Explain quickly, sorcerer. Time is a luxury we lack. Strange's hands moved through complex gestures, mapping dimensional coordinates in glowing sigils. Galactus feeds on planetary energy. Darkseid seeks conquest and domination. What if we gave them targets they couldn't resist? Targets that would draw them away from Earth? You mean sacrificing other worlds? Superman's voice carried barely restrained anger despite his exhaustion. That's not an option. No, Zatanna interjected, understanding Strange's plan. He means creating illusions, false signals, massive energy signatures that would appear to be exactly what they're seeking. Apocalypse, Batman said immediately. Make it appear that apocalypse has manifested in this reality. Darkseid would have to investigate. And for Galactus, Black Panther added, his scientifically trained mind following the logic. A phantom planet radiating energy signatures beyond Earth's. Something irresistible. Wonder Woman shook her head. That requires power we don't have. Creating illusions convincing enough to fool cosmic entities. Unless we pool everything, Captain America interrupted. He looked around at the assembled heroes, battered, bleeding, pushed beyond their limits. Every power source, every energy reserve, the arc reactor, Kryptonian solar absorption, Asgardian magic, Atlantean technology, lantern constructs, speed force, everything. It'll leave us defenseless, Flash said quietly. If it doesn't work. If it doesn't work, we're dead anyway, Spider-Man cut in, surprisingly serious. But if we do nothing, we're definitely dead, along with 2 entire Earths. Aquaman drove his trident into the ground. The oceans of both worlds are dying. I can feel them crying out, we must try. Green Lantern raised his ring. The core oath says, no evil shall escape my sight. Well, I'm looking right at evil. Count me in. Hulk cracked his massive knuckles. Hulk, give all smashing power. Then take nap. One by one, each hero nodded agreement. Then we do this together, Superman said, hovering at the center of the group. But we need coordination, precision. I'll handle Galactus's illusion, Dr. Strange said, already drawing power from every mystical source he could access. This universe's lords of order, chaos, the emotional spectrum's magic, dimensional rifts. I'll create a phantom world so rich with energy, he'll sense nothing else. I'll anchor Darkseid's, Zatanna added, an apocalypse manifestation complete with his throne, his armies, his entire infrastructure. He won't be able to resist investigating. Batman interfaced with Iron Man's armor systems. We'll create the technological framework, energy signatures, quantum markers, everything that registers on cosmic-level sensors. The rest of us provide raw power, Thor declared. Every ounce we have. They formed a circle in the heart of the stabilized zone, heroes from 2 universes working as one unified force. Superman floated at the circle's center, eyes closed, absorbing every photon of sunlight his cells could hold. His body glowed with stored solar radiation, becoming a living battery. Thor channeled Asgardian magic through Mjolnir, lightning cascading upward into the spell matrix Strange and Zatanna were weaving. The god of thunder drew on the Odin force itself, feeling his father's power respond despite the dimensional separation. Iron Man and Batman synchronized their arc reactor and backup power cells, creating a technological bridge that translated mystical energy into quantifiable outputs. Their combined genius built frameworks for the illusions in real time. Wonder Woman's lasso connected them all, truth binding their intentions into a singular purpose. Through it, everyone felt everyone else, shared pain, shared determination, shared hope. Flash and his DC counterpart ran in opposite circles around the group, vibrating at complementary frequencies. They wove Speed Force energy into the spell, adding temporal dimensions that would make the illusions exist across multiple timelines simultaneously. Aquaman channeled the dying ocean's fury, water rising in massive spirals that carried hydrokinetic power into the working. Black Panther added Wakandan technological harmonics, vibranium resonating with frequencies that stabilized the massive energy expenditure. The Hulk simply raged, gamma radiation pouring from his body in waves of raw, transformative power. Bruce Banner's scientific mind provided the control, shaping the chaos into usable force. Green Lanterns from both universes created construct frameworks, geometric patterns of pure will that gave shape to the illusions being crafted. Captain America stood at the circle's edge, shield raised, providing the one thing no power could replicate, absolute, unshakable conviction that this would work. His belief, forged through decades of impossible victories, became an anchor that kept everyone focused. Spider-Man, Cyborg, and the other tech heroes monitored the spell's progression, calling out adjustments. Energy fluctuation in Sector 7, compensating with additional Speed Force input. Temporal stability at 93%. Dr. Strange's voice echoed with the power of multiple dimensions. By the Vishanti, the Lords of Order, and all beings who maintain cosmic balance, I craft a world of lies so perfect it becomes truth. Zatanna's backwards incantation shook reality. Silopokolpa, Tsefinam, Nuot, Imra, Gnibla, Repa. The energy matrix exploded outward, not destructively, but expansively. It split into two massive constructs that rocketed away from Earth at faster than light speeds. In one direction, a phantom planet materialized. To Galactus's cosmic senses, it would appear as a world teeming with more energy than 1,000 Earths. Primal energy, ancient energy, the kind of sustenance that would satisfy even the Devourer's eternal hunger. Galactus paused his assault, his massive head turned, cosmic awareness detecting the impossible bounty. Such power, unprecedented. He began moving toward the phantom planet, enormous body accelerating through space. In the other direction, Apocalypse itself seemed to tear through dimensional barriers. Darkseid's Omega senses detected his throne world, impossibly present in this reality. Every detail perfect, every energy signature exact. His armies, his kingdom, everything he ruled. What trickery! Darkseid's eyes narrowed, but cosmic curiosity compelled him. If Apocalypse truly existed here, the multiversal implications were staggering. He had to investigate, had to know. This requires examination. His armada pivoted, following their lord toward the illusion. Both Apocalypses departed, leaving Earth behind. The heroes collapsed. Superman hit the ground, completely drained, his cells empty of solar energy. Thor fell to one knee, Mjolnir clattering beside him, Asgardian magic exhausted. Iron Man's armor shut down, life support switching to emergency reserves. Batman sagged against a wall, consciousness fading. Wonder Woman's lasso dimmed to barely a flicker. Flash vibrated to a stop and vomited from temporal whiplash. Doctor Strange and Zatanna collapsed simultaneously, nosebleeds painting their faces red. Silence fell across both battlefields. Did it work? Spider-Man asked weakly. For now, Captain America replied, barely standing. But those illusions won't hold forever. Galactus and Darkseid will eventually realize they're chasing phantoms. How long? Aquaman asked. Minutes, Batman said grimly. Maybe an hour if we're lucky. Then we have 1 hour to find a permanent solution, Black Panther said, forcing himself upright despite every muscle screaming. Or this was all for nothing. Hulk transformed back into Bruce Banner, the scientist's naked form shivering in the rubble. There's another problem. We stopped the architect, drove off the apocalypses, but we're still trapped. DC heroes in Marvel, Marvel heroes in DC, and we have no idea how to get home. The weight of that truth settled over everyone. They'd survived the battles, saved 2 Earths from immediate destruction, but they were still lost, still displaced, still fighting in the wrong universes. And somewhere in the space between realities, the Chaos Architect's laughter echoed one final time. You think you've won, but I was never the real threat. I was simply the catalyst. The story has begun, heroes, and stories once started must be completed, one way or another. Wonder Woman stood, helped Superman to his feet. Then we finish this. Together. Together, Thor agreed, reclaiming Mjolnir. But each hero felt the truth beneath the words. The real challenge hadn't been the apocalypses. It was finding the way home. And they had no idea where to start. The hour passed in desperate preparation. In the Marvel Universe's New York, heroes scavenged what they could from the devastation. Superman sat atop a half-collapsed building, absorbing sunlight that still felt subtly wrong. Each photon restored his strength, but left an aftertaste of displacement, like food that satisfied hunger without quite tasting right. Your son is different, he said to Iron Man, who was welding damaged armor plates using a cutting torch salvaged from a construction site. Different how? Tony asked, not looking up from his work. The radiation spectrum. In my universe, yellow sun radiation is perfect fuel for Kryptonian cells. Here, it's close, but not exact. I'm at maybe 85% capacity, maybe less. Physics constants vary between universes, Tony replied. Planck length, fine structure constant, electromagnetic force strength, all slightly different, enough to make cross-dimensional travel theoretically impossible. He paused. Which makes our situation extra special. Batman emerged from shadows that seemed too deep even for him. This universe's darkness felt heavier, more absolute. I've analyzed the architect's residual energy signature. It left traces, dimensional coordinates embedded in quantum foam. You understood any of that? Flash asked, vibrating in place to stay warm. His metabolism burned faster here, requiring more calories. He'd already eaten 17 protein bars from SHIELD supplies. Barely, Batman admitted. But Dr. Strange should be able to interpret it. If we can reverse engineer how the architect swapped us, we might be able to swap ourselves back, Wonder Woman finished. She'd been testing her lasso against this universe's magical framework. The truth it compelled felt more flexible here, less absolute. But that assumes we have the power. Which we don't, Green Lantern added grimly. His ring showed 17% charge remaining, with no way to reach a power battery. That last spell drained everything. Most of us are running on fumes. Aquaman stood at the harbor's edge, communing with marine life that still refused to fully acknowledge him. Whales and dolphins sensed him but couldn't quite understand his commands. The ocean felt like a foreign language he'd partially forgotten. The waters say something's coming, something worse than Galactus. Define worse, Spider-Man said, hanging upside down from a web line. His spider sense had been tingling for the past 10 minutes. Not immediate danger, but approaching threat. They can't explain, but everything with survival instinct is fleeing into deep ocean. In the DC Universe's Washington, the Marvel heroes faced similar realizations. Thor stood atop the ruined Washington Monument, Mjolnir heavy in his grip. This world's magic fights me. Every lightning bolt requires twice the effort. The Odin force feels muted. Because Asgard doesn't exist here, Dr. Strange said, floating beside him. He'd spent the past hour trying to contact his patron entities, Vishanti, Agamotto, Oshtur, all silent. I'm borrowing power from local entities, the Lords of Order, the Spectre, the Presence. But it's like speaking a language I've only half learned. Can you still access dimensional travel? Captain America asked from below. In theory, but I'd need a clear destination and massive amounts of energy, both of which we lack. Strange's hands trembled, not from fear, but from magical exhaustion. He'd pushed himself beyond safe limits. Zatanna is studying the problem from the other direction. Her backwards magic might interface better with Marvel physics than mine does. Black Panther coordinated with what remained of this universe's infrastructure. The Justice League, surviving SHIELD agents, and confused civilians. We've established temporary shelters, but resources are critically low, and people are asking questions we can't answer. Like why gods and aliens are fighting in their streets, Spider-Man offered. He'd been helping with rescue operations, pulling people from rubble with webs that felt stickier here, stronger, almost alive. Like whether their actual heroes are dead, T'Challa corrected quietly. They want Superman, Batman, the Flash, their protectors, not strangers wearing similar colors. The weight of that settled over the group. We can't stay here, Hulk said, having transformed back to Banner. The scientist wrapped himself in a borrowed SHIELD jacket. Even if we wanted to, we don't belong. Our presence destabilizes quantum reality. The longer we remain, the more damage we cause just by existing. Then we need to leave, Iron Man said. But how? Zatanna appeared in a flash of backward-spoken teleportation, landing unsteadily. I think I know, but you're not going to like it. Both groups discovered the same terrible truth simultaneously. Dr. Strange and Zatanna had been comparing notes across dimensional barriers, using magical frequencies that operated between universes. What they found chilled them. The architect didn't just swap heroes, Strange explained to his team. It created a bridge, a permanent dimensional tunnel connecting DC and Marvel universes. "That sounds good," Spider-Man said hopefully. "We can use it to go home." "No," Zatanna corrected, her image flickering in the mystical projection connecting both teams. "The bridge is collapsing. Like a wormhole without sufficient mass energy to maintain stability. When it closes, in approximately 30 minutes, the universes will snap apart." "Still sounds like a solution," Flash said. "It would be." Batman's voice came through comms. "Except the bridge's collapse will generate a dimensional shockwave. Both universes will be destroyed in the backlash. Complete quantum annihilation." Silence. "So we're trapped," Thor said slowly. "Cannot stay, cannot leave, and soon both our homes will cease to exist. Unless," Dr. Strange said carefully, "we stabilize the bridge, make it permanent." "Permanently connect DC and Marvel universes?" Superman asked, horrified. "Merge them completely?" "It's the only way to prevent the collapse," Zatanna confirmed, "but it would require sacrifices," Batman finished. "Anchors, living beings powerful enough to sustain a permanent dimensional bridge. Beings existing in both universes simultaneously." Wonder Woman understood immediately. "You mean some of us would have to remain here, permanently, divided between universes, holding the bridge open from both sides?" "How many?" Captain America asked, though his tone suggested he already knew the answer. "Two," Dr. Strange said quietly. "One from each team, volunteering to exist between realities forever, their life force sustaining the bridge. Never fully in either universe, never fully home." Iron Man's HUD calculated the implications. They'd experience time dilation, quantum superposition, effectively living in two places at once while never truly existing in either. Conscious but isolated, aware of both universes but unable to interact with either fully. "A fate worse than death," Aquaman said softly. "But necessary," Black Panther countered. "If we don't stabilize the bridge, billions die. Everyone, everything." "So we're choosing who gets sacrificed," Spider-Man said, uncharacteristically bitter. "That's not a solution. That's a nightmare." "It's the only nightmare that lets anyone survive," Batman replied, cold logic overriding emotion. "We need volunteers, one from each team, powerful enough to sustain dimensional barriers, willing to sacrifice their existence for their universe." The silence that followed was deafening. Then Superman spoke. "I'll do it." "No," Batman said immediately. "Earth needs you. Your universe needs you." "My universe needs to exist," Superman countered. "That's more important than me." "I will stand anchor," Thor declared. "As guardians are long-lived, I can endure centuries between dimensions." "Your hammer is needed in your universe," Wonder Woman argued. "The god of thunder is a symbol." "Then perhaps symbols should be willing to sacrifice," Thor shot back. Arguments erupted across both teams, everyone volunteering, everyone insisting others were more valuable. The clock ticked down, 27 minutes until dimensional collapse. Then Dr. Strange raised his hand, trembling. "There's another option, one I've been avoiding because of the cost." "Explain," Batman commanded. "The architect was destroyed, but its essence remains in the space between universes. What if we reconstructed it, created a new chaos architect, but one bound to our will, forced to maintain the bridge permanently?" "You mean create a cosmic entity from scratch?" Tony asked incredulously. From the architect's remains and our combined power, Zatanna added, understanding the plan. It would require every hero contributing a piece of their essence, permanently weakening everyone who participates. How much weaker? Captain America asked. 20%, Strange said quietly. Maybe more. Permanently. Your powers, skills, abilities, all reduced forever. You'd still be enhanced, but diminished. But no one dies, Superman said. No one gets trapped between dimensions. And everyone goes home, Wonder Woman added. Flash vibrated nervously. So we all lose part of what makes us super, but we survive and return to our universes? Yes, both sorcerers confirmed simultaneously. The heroes looked at each other across dimensional barriers and ruined cities. 24 minutes remaining. All in favor? Captain America asked. Every hand raised, even knowing what it would cost, even understanding they'd never be the same. The ritual required precision that bordered on impossible. Both teams converged on a single dimensional coordinate, a point where the collapsing bridge between universes was thinnest. In Marvel's New York and DC's Washington simultaneously, heroes gathered in mirrored formations. Doctor Strange and Zatanna stood at the center of each circle, hands already moving through preliminary gestures. Everyone needs to contribute simultaneously, Strange explained, voice strained from the effort of maintaining cross-dimensional communication. The moment I give the signal, open yourselves completely. Mind, body, soul. Let your essence flow into the working. And the architect's remnants? Batman asked, analyzing the swirling dimensional distortions visible through specialized lenses. Fragments of the destroyed entity's consciousness drifted like cosmic debris. We bind them, Zatanna replied. Force them into a matrix constructed from our combined power. The new entity won't have free will. It'll be a living dimensional anchor, keeping both universes separate yet connected. Essentially cosmic life support, Iron Man said, arc reactor pulsing as he prepared to contribute its energy. With us as the battery. Forever, Wonder Woman added, lasso of truth glowing as she connected everyone in both circles through threads of golden light. This entity will require constant sustenance, drawing power from us across dimensional barriers. We'll feel it, a constant drain, subtle but permanent. Thor gripped Mjolnir tighter. So be it. Better diminished than dead. Superman floated above his circle, cape stirring in winds that came from no earthly direction. How long will this take? Minutes, Strange replied, but they'll feel like hours. The process of extracting essence isn't pleasant. Pain we can handle, Captain America said, shield resting against his shoulder. It's failure we can't afford. Aquaman drove his trident into the ground, creating the first anchor point. Water from both universes' oceans spiraled upward, forming a pillar that connected Earth to sky. The seas are ready. They'll carry our power between realities. Green Lantern constructs formed geometric frameworks in both locations, identical structures bridging the dimensional gap. Willpower is universal. It'll be our foundation. Flash and his DC counterpart began running in opposite circles, their paths creating figure eights that looped through both universes simultaneously. The Speed Force, fractured but still functioning, wove temporal threads that would lock the ritual into a single, extended moment. Black Panther's vibranium technology hummed, creating harmonic resonances with metals that existed in both universes. The frequencies built upon each other, amplifying and stabilizing. Wakanda provides the structure, as we always have. Spider-Man and the other street-level heroes formed the outer perimeter, their combined spider sense, enhanced instincts, and tactical awareness creating a defensive network. We've got your backs. Nothing interrupts this. Hulk, still Bruce Banner but allowing gamma radiation to seep from his cells without fully transforming, added raw, transformative power to the working. Science and rage, my contribution to cosmic surgery. Cyborg's technological components interfaced with both universes' fundamental code, rewriting reality at the quantum level to accept what they were about to create. I'm the bridge between organic and synthetic. Maybe that makes me perfect for this. 20 minutes remaining until collapse. Now, Doctor Strange commanded. The ritual began. Every hero opened themselves, not physically, but metaphysically, souls laid bare. Power flowing outward in streams of light, energy, and pure essence. Superman gasped as solar radiation poured from his cells. Not the energy itself, but the capacity to hold it. His Kryptonian biology diminishing, losing efficiency. He felt himself becoming weaker, not by much, but noticeably. A ceiling lowering on his potential. Thor roared as Asgardian magic flowed from his divine heritage. The Odin force retreating, pulling back to Asgard and taking a portion of Thor's godhood with it. He'd still be mighty, but no longer quite so divine. The Wonder Woman's connection to the Olympian pantheon dimmed. The gods' blessings, gifts that made her more than human, reduced to whispers where once were shouts. Her strength remained, but the edge of divinity dulled. Batman felt his mind slow fractionally. Processing speed, tactical analysis, detective reasoning, all still exceptional, but no longer quite touching the superhuman intuition he'd cultivated, his humanity becoming more human. Iron Man's arc reactor flickered, not failing, but limited. The genius that had created it remained, but the inspiration, that spark of impossible innovation, banking to smolder where once it roared. Flash stumbled as the Speed Force connection degraded. He'd still be fast, incredibly fast, but the infinite speed he'd touched, the ability to vibrate through dimensions and outrace death itself, locked behind barriers he'd never cross again. Captain America gritted his teeth as the super soldier serum's effectiveness decreased. Still peak human, still enhanced, but the ceiling had lowered. His absolute physical limit reduced by measurable percentages. Every hero felt it. The diminishment, the loss. But they didn't stop, didn't hesitate. Strange and Zatanna wove the flowing essence into intricate patterns, their magic binding the streams into a complex matrix. The architect's remnants, fragments of consciousness scattered across dimensional barriers, were caught in the web of power. "It's fighting!" Zatanna shouted, blood running from her nose. "The architect's will is resisting." "Then we impose our will stronger," Strange replied, hands moving faster, spell constructs multiplying. "Everyone, push harder, give more." The heroes dug deeper, past comfort, past safety, into reserves they'd never accessed. Green Lantern's ring cracked, emerald light fracturing. Aquaman's connection to Poseidon severed completely. Black Panther felt Bast's presence fade to nothingness. Spider-Man's spider sense dulled to a vague tingle. Hulk felt gamma radiation becoming less responsive, harder to trigger. The architect's remnants screamed in a voice beyond sound, a conceptual protest against existence. But the combined will of dozens of heroes proved stronger than the will of one entity, even a cosmic one. The matrix closed, compressed, ignited. A new entity burst into existence, not in either universe but between them. A living, dimensional membrane, conscious but controlled, aware but bound. It existed solely to maintain separation, to prevent the universes from colliding or drifting apart. The stabilizer, they would later call it. The architect's power without its malevolence. Structure without chaos. It spread itself across the dimensional barrier, tendrils of crystallized reality connecting both universes at quantum foundations. The collapsing bridge stopped its decay, then began rebuilding, reinforced by the new entity's presence. The ritual completed. Heroes collapsed in both universes simultaneously. Superman landed on cracked asphalt, breathing hard. He tested his strength, lifting a car. Still easy, superhuman, but he could feel the ceiling. Before, there'd been no limit he could perceive. Now, he knew exactly how much he could lift, how fast he could fly, how much punishment he could take. He was no longer unlimited, just extraordinary. Thor examined his hands, divine lightning crackling weakly between his fingers. "I am diminished," he said quietly, "but still the god of thunder, still worthy." Wonder Woman's lasso flickered, truth magic operating at reduced capacity. "We succeeded. The universes are stable." "At what cost?" Flash asked, vibrating at speeds that now felt like running through molasses compared to before. "The only cost that mattered," Batman replied. "Everything continues. Both universes survive." Dr. Strange and Zatanna stood shakily, supported by others. The magical backlash had hit them hardest. Years shaved from their lifespans, mystical sensitivity permanently reduced. "The bridge is stable," Strange confirmed, "and the path is clear. We can go home." "Home," Iron Man repeated, the word carrying weight. "Yeah, that sounds good." Portals opened, stable doorways between universes, maintained by the stabilizer's constant effort. On one side, Marvel's New York. On the other, DC's Washington. The heroes of each universe gathered at their respective portals, preparing to cross back. "Will we remember this?" Spider-Man asked. "Every moment," Superman replied from the other side, "and we'll carry the cost forever." Thor raised Mjolnir in salute. "Then let us remember that heroes pay prices, that victory requires sacrifice, and that we were willing." Captain America returned the salute with his shield. "Until we meet again, if we ever do, stay strong." "You too," Wonder Woman replied. The DC heroes stepped through the portal into their universe. The Marvel heroes crossed back into theirs. The doorways closed behind them. And in the space between realities, the stabilizer, born from the architect's remains and sustained by heroes' essence, maintained its eternal vigil, feeding on them, diminishing them, forever. Superman landed in Metropolis, his Metropolis, and knew immediately he was home. The air tasted right. The sun's radiation spectrum aligned perfectly with his cellular structure, though he absorbed it less efficiently now. The familiar skyline of the Daily Planet, LexCorp Tower, and STAR Labs stretched before him. But something had changed fundamentally. The city was damaged. Not from Darkseid's invasion, that had been prevented when the heroes were swapped, but from something else. Burn marks scarred buildings in patterns Superman didn't recognize. Craters dotted streets where there should have been none. "Clark!" Lois Lane's voice crackled through his super hearing, weaker than before but still functional. She was at the planet, coordinating emergency broadcasts. "Where have you been? You disappeared for nearly 3 hours. The city's been under attack and..." 3 hours. He'd been gone 3 hours in this universe's timeline, but it had felt like days. Batman's voice cut into the Justice League comm channel. "Everyone report. Something's wrong. Gotham is showing battle damage I don't remember authorizing or even witnessing." "Themyscira is intact," Wonder Woman replied, "but my Amazons report I've been missing. They say I vanished mid-conversation." Flash checked his phone, scrolling through news alerts with diminished but still superhuman speed. "Guys, I'm seeing reports of attacks that happened while we were gone. Alien invasions in Coast City, magic anomalies in New York. But I don't remember any of it, and neither does anyone else who got swapped." "Because we weren't here," Green Lantern said grimly, descending from orbit. "Whatever happened while we were in the Marvel Universe, it happened without us, and our world had to deal with it alone." Aquaman surfaced in Metropolis Harbor, confusion evident. "The oceans remember battles, blood in the water, but I have no memory of these conflicts." "That's because time flowed differently," Batman deduced, analyzing data from the Batcave's systems. 3 hours passed here. For us, it was longer. And in our absence, threats emerged that normally would have required the Justice League's attention. Superman flew over the city, heat vision scanning for survivors. His X-ray vision, operating at reduced capacity, caught glimpses of people trapped in rubble. He began rescue operations, noting how each task required fractionally more effort than before. A woman pinned under concrete. Before, he could have lifted the entire building. Now, he had to carefully calculate the weight distribution, use leverage, strain muscles that actually felt strain. "I'm weaker," he admitted quietly into his comm. "We all are," Batman replied. 20% reduction across the board, maybe more for some of us. It's permanent. "But we're alive," Wonder Woman said, pulling a bus from a collapsed overpass with strength that, while still superhuman, no longer felt infinite. "And our universe exists." "That's something," Flash agreed, though his voice carried doubt. In the Marvel universe, similar realizations unfolded. Tony Stark stood in the ruins of Stark Tower, his tower, analyzing damage that hadn't existed when he'd been pulled into the DC universe. Jarvis, full diagnostic. "What happened while I was gone?" "Sir, you were absent for approximately 4 hours. During that time, multiple incidents occurred. Ultron drones attacked Chicago, a Skrull scouting fleet entered Earth's atmosphere, and Dr. Doom launched an assault on Wakanda. The Avengers attempted to respond but were severely undermanned." "Casualties?" Tony asked, though he dreaded the answer. 17 heroes injured, 342 civilians dead, property damage in the billions." Tony's jaw clenched. 4 hours. They'd been gone 4 hours in this universe's timeline, and people had died in their absence. Thor landed beside him, Mjolnir crackling with diminished lightning. "I have spoken with Heimdall. Asgard reports I vanished during a critical council. In my absence, political alliances shifted. Trust was damaged. Captain America coordinated with what remained of SHIELD, his tactical mind processing information at speeds that felt sluggish compared to before. Director Fury wants explanations. The world wants to know why the Avengers disappeared during multiple crises." "What do we tell them?" Spider-Man asked, swinging between buildings with webs that felt heavier, less responsive. "That we fought in another universe? Saved 2 realities by sacrificing part of ourselves? They won't believe us." "We tell them the truth," Black Panther said, standing amid Wakandan reconstruction efforts. Shuri worked frantically to repair damage from Doom's assault, damage that might have been prevented if T'Challa had been present. "And we accept the consequences." Doctor Strange materialized in a burst of amber sparks, dimmer than before, slower to form. "I've consulted the Time Stone. The multiverse has stabilized, but at a cost. Our reduced capabilities are permanent, and the stabilizer will continue feeding on us indefinitely." "How much?" Hulk asked, having remained Banner for the moment. His gamma transformation had become harder to trigger, requiring more anger, more stress. "A fraction of a percentage point annually," Strange replied. "Barely noticeable year to year. But compounding. In a decade, we'll be noticeably weaker. In a century, assuming we live that long, we'll be shadows of what we once were." The weight of that settled over the team. "So we saved 2 universes," Tony said slowly, "but condemned ourselves to slow diminishment." "And we lost time here," Captain America added. "Time when we were needed. People died because we weren't present." Thor raised Mjolnir, though the hammer felt heavier now. "Would you change your choice, knowing the cost?" Silence. Then Superman's voice crackled through residual dimensional feedback, a lingering connection between the heroes who'd shared the ritual. "No, we wouldn't, because the alternative was annihilation." "Agreed," Tony replied, surprised they could still communicate across universes. "But that doesn't make the cost any easier to bear." Wonder Woman's voice joined. "We are heroes. We bear costs. That's what separates us." from those we fight. Pretty words, Spider-Man muttered. But they don't bring back the people who died while we were gone. No, Batman's cold logic cut through. They don't. But dwelling on what we can't change serves no purpose. We move forward, we adapt, we continue protecting our worlds with what we have left. Flash vibrated at reduced speeds. Anyone else feel the stabilizer, like a constant background drain? It's subtle, but it's there. Always there, Doctor Strange confirmed. A reminder of what we've done, what we've sacrificed. Aquaman spoke from the ocean. The seas sing of it, a cosmic entity born from heroism and necessity, feeding on legends to maintain reality. Poetic, Iron Man said dryly, and accurate. We're living batteries for a dimensional support system. Worth it, Green Lantern insisted. My ring may be weaker, but it still burns green, still fights evil. That's enough. Captain America's voice carried the weight of absolute conviction. We made our choice, now we live with it, and we prove that even diminished, we're still heroes, still protectors, still worthy of the symbols we carry. Until the end, Thor agreed. Until the end, the others echoed across 2 universes. In Metropolis, Superman hovered above the city as sunset painted the sky gold and crimson. His cape, tattered from battle, repaired by Ma Kent, stirred in winds that felt right again. Lois found him on the planet's roof later. "You're different," she said, not accusingly, just observing. Quieter, like something heavy is sitting on your shoulders. "I saved the universe," Clark replied softly. "But I lost something in the process, something I'll never get back. Your power. Part of it, maybe 20%, maybe more over time." Lois took his hand. And I'm realizing that maybe I relied too much on being invincible, on having unlimited strength. Now I have limits, real limits. "Welcome to being human," Lois said gently. "We live with limits every day." Clark smiled despite the weight. "Then I guess I'll learn. Again." In New York, Tony Stark stood in his workshop, arc reactor humming at reduced efficiency. Pepper found him staring at equations that refused to resolve. "You saved 2 universes," she said. "I know. But people died here while you were gone." "I know that too. So what now?" Tony looked at the Iron Man armor. Powerful, but no longer quite as powerful as before. "Now I build better, smarter. I make up for what I've lost with what I still have." He turned to Pepper. "And I accept that being a hero means living with consequences." Across 2 universes, heroes returned to their lives, changed, diminished, but unbroken. The stabilizer pulsed in the space between realities, feeding on their essence, maintaining the separation that kept both worlds alive. And in the quantum foam of the dimensional membrane, a whisper of the Chaos Architect's consciousness remained, bound and controlled, but aware. You've won. But at what cost? And how long until the next crisis requires even greater sacrifice? The heroes didn't answer. They simply continued their vigil. Because that's what heroes do. The dimensional bridge hummed with quiet constancy, invisible to all but the most sensitive cosmic entities. In the space between DC and Marvel, a place that was neither somewhere nor nowhere, the stabilizer maintained its eternal watch. Born from the Chaos Architect's remains and sustained by Hero's essence, it fed continuously on the very legends that had created it. In Metropolis, months passed. Superman adjusted to his new limits with characteristic determination. He learned to calculate weight distributions more carefully, to pace himself during extended flights, to rely more on strategy than raw power. Lois watched him become more thoughtful, more deliberate. Not weaker exactly, just more human. "You're smiling," she observed one evening as they stood on their apartment balcony. I had to actually think about stopping that train robbery today, Clark replied. Before, I could have just held the train in place indefinitely. Now, I had to redirect it, use leverage, coordinate with the police. It was satisfying, like solving a puzzle instead of just overpowering it. The great Superman discovers the value of strategy, Lois teased. The diminished Superman learns to work smarter, Clark corrected, pulling her close, and realizes he should have been doing that all along. In Gotham, Batman's reduction manifested differently. His detective work took fractionally longer. Deductions that once came instantly now required seconds of conscious processing. But Bruce Wayne was nothing if not adaptive. He compensated with better technology, more thorough preparation, and, surprisingly, more willingness to ask for help. "You're delegating more," Alfred observed, bringing tea to the Batcave. "My mind isn't quite as sharp," Bruce admitted, analyzing crime scene photos. "I'm still exceptional, but no longer beyond normal human genius. So I'm using the resources I've always had. Oracle's data processing, Tim's analytical mind, Damian's intuition. You're building a team rather than being a solo legend. I'm accepting that even Batman has limits." Bruce looked up from his work. "And that limits don't mean weakness. They mean humanity." In the Marvel Universe, Tony Stark threw himself into engineering with renewed purpose. His arc reactor's reduced efficiency drove him to innovate rather than retreat. New designs flowed, not from impossible genius, but from hard work, collaboration, and accepting that perfection was no longer instantly achievable. "You're working with others more," Pepper noted, reviewing partnership proposals with Reed Richards, Shuri, and Hank Pym. "Because I can't do everything alone anymore," Tony replied. "My spark is dimmer, so I'm surrounding myself with other sparks, creating a bonfire instead of a single flame." Thor returned to Asgard, diminished but not defeated. His people noticed the change. Their prince no longer quite as godly, his lightning less devastating, his strength more mortal. But they also saw something else: humility, wisdom, a god learning to understand mortal limitations. "You have grown, my son," Odin said, studying Thor with ancient eyes. "I have shrunk, father," Thor corrected. "No, you have become complete. Power without understanding creates tyrants. You now know both the heights of divinity and the weight of limitation. That makes you not less, but more." Across both universes, the pattern repeated. Heroes adapted, compensated, grew. Wonder Woman spent more time training, honing skill to compensate for reduced strength. Flash studied physics more intently, using science to enhance diminished speed. Black Panther deepened his connection to Wakanda's technological resources, supplementing lost spiritual power with innovation. Captain America discovered that his tactical brilliance, always his true strength, remained largely unaffected. Physical reduction mattered little when strategy mattered more. Doctor Strange and Zatanna maintained contact across dimensional barriers, their shared sacrifice creating a bond that transcended universes. They monitored the stabilizer together, ensuring it remained controlled, bound, fulfilling its purpose, without regaining malevolence. "Do you regret it?" Zatanna asked during one of their mystical conferences. "Every day," Strange admitted, "and not at all. I've lost power, but gained perspective. Magic was becoming too easy. Now every spell requires effort, thought, respect. I'm a better sorcerer for it." The world, both worlds, never learned the full truth. How could they understand? Their heroes had vanished for hours, returned diminished, and refused to fully explain why. Conspiracy theories flourished. Trust wavered. But gradually, as the heroes continued their work, continued protecting, saving, defending, faith rebuilt. "They're different," people said. "They're weaker," critics claimed. "They're more human," supporters counted. And maybe that's what we needed. The stabilizer continued its silent work, maintaining separation between universes that had nearly merged into catastrophe. It fed on the heroes, a constant, subtle drain that would never cease. Their sacrifice was permanent, their diminishment irreversible. But both universes existed. Billions of lives continued. Infinite stories unfolded. In the space between realities, where the stabilizer pulsed with controlled cosmic power, a final whisper echoed, not from the chaos architect, but from the entity that had replaced it. Thank you. Not gratitude from a prisoner to captors, but acknowledgement from a newborn cosmic consciousness to the parents who'd birthed it from necessity and sacrifice. The stabilizer understood its purpose: maintain balance, prevent collision, preserve both universes at the cost of drawing power from legends. It would fulfill that purpose eternally, and the heroes who'd created it would pay the price forever. Superman stood atop the daily planet, watching his city sleep. His hearing, reduced but still superhuman, caught Lois's heartbeat in their apartment, steady and strong. His vision, limited but still extraordinary, saw stars that were the same stars he'd seen from the Marvel Universe, yet somehow different. "Worth it," he whispered to the night. In New York, Iron Man hovered above Stark Tower, arc reactor glowing dimmer than it once had. Below, the city pulsed with life saved, continued, preserved. "Worth it," Tony echoed across dimensional barriers he could no longer fully perceive. The heroes of two universes had saved everything by sacrificing part of themselves. They'd become legends who knew their own limits. And perhaps, in the end, that made them greater heroes than unlimited power ever could. The stabilizer hummed. Reality remained stable, and in both universes, life continued. Imperfect, chaotic, beautiful, and worth every sacrifice made to preserve it. New worlds await. More stories soon.